you very much, Senator Blumenthal, and of course Senator Markey, my colleague, Mr. Cohen, and of course our consumer advocates in this renewed effort to end the gouging of the flying public, especially of working families. Every person that has flown on a plane the last few years has experienced the irritation of all the fees that airlines charge these days. To check a bag, 35 bucks. Want to change your flight? Prepare to pay over 100 bucks. Spirit Airlines even charges $10 to print out a boarding pass. These fees disproportionately impact working class families, especially Latino and Black families who can least afford to pay these fees when they fly. So the airlines are getting all of this revenue and price gouging consumers at the expense of working class families just trying to go on a vacation to see their relatives. It doesn't have to be this way. The big airlines didn't start charging for bags until 2008. That's right, before 2008, checking a bag was free. Remember those days? In 2008, the fee was $15 for the first bag and $25 for the second bag. Now, 35 bucks for the first bag and $45 for the second bag. So bag fees have nearly doubled over the last decade. What does that mean in 2030? Airlines are gonna charge us $70 to check one bag? It's clear that these fees have become a revenue bonanza for airlines, and now they're hooked on it. In 2019, the most recent year, as Senator Markey pointed out, they raised 5.8 billion bucks in baggage fees. If you add to that the 2.8 billion in ticket change and cancellation fees, we're talking about 8.6 billion in fees from consumers in 2019. How much is $5.8 billion in bag fees? It's equal to the amount that American Airlines will receive from the Federal Payroll Support Program. And more than that, the combined annual revenue of Spirit and Allegiant Airlines. If we don't act, airlines will only continue to increase fees in the future. So now's the time to do something about it. And we've got to stop airlines from ripping off consumers. Our bill is simple. It doesn't ban these fees, but it gives the U.S. Department of Transportation the ability to regulate them so that they are proportional to the cost to provide these services. It's just common sense. It's one thing if airlines are using these fees to cover their costs of checking bags or changing flights, but that's not what they're doing. It's become very, very clear. Giving this authority to U.S. DOT and Secretary Buttigieg to regulate these fees so that they are reasonable and proportional to the cost of providing these services will ensure that airlines don't gouge customers and that flying remains affordable for Americans and their families. Thank you again, leaders and champions.